Welcome, Sexy Wookiees, to another episode of the Sexy Wookiee Squadcast. We're reading a brand new book, Star Wars Wedge's Gamble by Michael A. Stackpole. Lock as fails in attack position. It's your boy, Sexy Leader.
Hey, your girl, Sexy One.
Hey, it's your simp, Sexy Two.
Let's
go.
go.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we're all back in X-Wings. We're all back in orange.
Woo woo!
Showing jazz. Even my drink tonight is orange. Went with mimosas, so.
Mine is technically orange. It's a peach drink.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, guys.
I won't
So,
judge.
starting off with the small battle in space. How did you like reading that?
I love it. I think it's very intentional. It's very cinematic. You always want to kind of open with a little action scene, and it just dropped us right back into this world again, right back into the squadron, right back into Corrin's cockpit, and just the way that he approaches leading this team and space battles. So it was a really good refresher on X-Wings and the technicalities and how they talk to the other members. So yeah, I was like, thank you. Now I remember how this goes. I was so happy to see the Y-Wings show up because I don't know why, I just think they're so cute. And so I was glad they got some kills and had a good time in there, had some success. So yeah, love it. Opening action sequence all day.
Yeah, I like how we continued this book from where we last left off, Rogue Squadron. And when I was thinking of this first chapter, I said, are they going to start off the way they started off in that book? And so I'm thinking, okay, they're going to be in some simulator, like practicing, because that's what caught me off guard in that first book. But I like how Corrin now is stepping into this new role, being not a veteran yet. I don't think you can call him a veteran of Rogue Squadron, but well, more experience, I would say.
For sure.
And he can like give all his knowledge to either existing pilots or new pilots. And yeah, I just like seeing him in this role, and a little cocky, but a little ready to go, and at any moment's notice, take any mission. Wedge and Admiral Akbar ready to give.
Mm-hmm. And still trusting in his gut and his Corsac training. Like, Same old guy, same character. I love him.
It was really nice to read. Like you said, it was like, oh my gosh, just like Rogue Squadron, just immediately pulls you in, and you're like, hey, here's our boy. Part of me was like, where's Wedge? Where's Wedge?
Just waiting for Wedge. Come on.
It's like, where's my man?
Oh, we got to him.
Sorry, simp mode has been activated.
Oh, this book's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, no, it was really nice to read that because especially like you could tell with the newer canon books, even though there is action, it's not always as action-packed or detailed as with the older ones. So it was an interesting jump to go from Ahsoka to this. So it got me excited. I was like, okay, we're getting in there. We're going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah,
All right,
great way to start us.
Ready for the next one?
Yes.
So this one I wasn't sure if I should ask, but then I was like, okay, I think you guys might have some interesting answers.
Oh boy.
So Wedge wonders if Pash Kraken, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm going to assume Kraken.
I think so.
It's a cool last name if it's pronounced like that. So Wedge wonders if Pash Kraken is being used as a spy by his father. Would you use your kid as a spy if they had talents like Pash?
Ooh, that's kind of a tricky question. Yeah, maybe. I think.
Why or why not?
Oh, it's tough because if you see somebody with talent, someone that, and your job is so logical and with this purpose and this goal that's so important, you would not utilize good talent when you see it, even if it's your own kid. In fact, you would almost trust them more. So, but then it would be too obvious. It's so nepotistic, if that's a word, that like, oh, well, he, you know, of course he's going to be talking to his father. He's going to be telling him stuff because, you know, that's his son. And so he's going to be spying on us. It's almost too obvious. So it wouldn't be sneaky like you'd want if it was just some rando that was on your team and nobody knew it. So I don't know. But it did seem a little cold that he was just like, yeah, no, I think he's going to do a great job. And if he goes out dying as a rogue, I think that it means that he was doing his best. I'm like, gee, oh my gosh. Like he's really like okay with putting his kid's life on the line. But I guess that's just how this family operates, is like, give it everything, put it all on the line, don't hold back, like do what you got to do for this cause, for this rebellion. And so in a way that's admirable, is that none of them are holding the others back. Like that they're all true believers in this cause, and that nobody is trying to dissuade somebody from getting too involved out of protectiveness. So yeah, it's cool to see like this whole family in the business of rebelling.
Yeah, definitely. You have to let Kraken, the son, do his thing, and
Kraken
all of
Jr.?
the talents that he can give to Rogue Squadron. I think it'll be beneficial for Wedge. It would actually make Wedge's job a little bit easier, not having to hide one of his team, and let him do his thing and let him excel with his talents.
Do you think
So-
he's spying though?
Yeah, that's it. So like it's different. So it's different that he's in Rogue Squadron, but the extra thing would be if he's a spy. Would you send your kid in to
as
be
a spy. Okay, I totally looked at it the wrong way. I said, would he be a spy in Rogue Squadron?
No,
no.
would you let your kid be a spy? Would you have them be one?
Ooh.
Like Pash may or may not be.
It seems like right now, from what we read so far, that he doesn't want anything to do with the family. So, he doesn't want the spotlight. And so I think he's just trying to make his own name and not the general father's name. So I think, no, he's not a spy. The son is just trying to, because I forget his name.
Pash?
The first name.
Pash.
Is it Pash?
Okay. Pash.
And
Pash Kraken
Dad.
Jr.
Friggin' the best
Oh,
name
they're both the same name.
in all of fiction.
You could just
Kraken.
You could just call him Kraken Jr.
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't
let's
have the
do that
same
too.
name. It's
No, right?
it's
There's a
Aaron.
Yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah,
call him
no,
Kraken.
I don't think. I'm hoping he's not a spy. It would.
So if you
That's
had a kid
pretty
in
messed
the
up.
same position, you were the general, and your kid was going to join Rogue Squadron, would you have your kid be a spy?
No, because I'm
Your
not that
kid,
type
not
of
Pash.
person.
Okay.
No. I just want to see my son excel in a very prestigious group of starfighter group.
I wonder what the relationship is like. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
And I like that we're revisiting family dynamics, that there's this theme again with the responsibility and the loyalty to family. And it does seem like, Ronald, like you said, that Pash is trying to make a name for himself, and that he didn't necessarily follow in his father's footsteps. He's not intelligence. He decided to go into piloting and was really good at that. And so it seems like his dad's trying to kind of put him in a position where he's going to still be doing intelligence work, hence putting him or pushing him towards Rogue Squadron right before Aaron knows that they're going to be sent to Coruscant to spy. So I'm like, oh, well, that was fortuitous timing. But like, yeah, that there's this family thing. Like, if something happens to Pash, are we going to be in trouble with this other general? And I don't know. It's an interesting conundrum that they've got here.
So we got a yes from Megan. We got a no from Ronald.
Tiebreaker.
I think I would. If my kid had the aptitude, had the skills, and I was like, hey, you know what? You've done all these things. You want to join the squadron anyway. please do this for me, for the Alliance. I would give my reasonings why. And if they agree to it, then yeah, I'd have my kid be a spy, because I mean, they're already sacrificing themselves just being part of the Alliance. We're all risking ourselves. So if they have the ability to take that extra step,
Help me out a little.
Like his dad said, as heartless as it is, it's still kind of true. He's like, you know what? If he dies here, it wouldn't be the worst way, because the kid wanted to be there anyway, wanted to do the best he can, even though just being in the Alliance, being a pilot means you're gonna probably die. So might as well go out, in a good way.
With the best of the best.
Glory.
Yeah. So I would probably let my kid be a spy. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, what's the next question?
So, would you guys be concerned if you were Wedge after that talk about Rogue Squadron being a challenge with Kraken Senior?
I think what that meant was his time in. Okay, so the general said that Pasha's time in Rogue Squadron could prove to be a challenge for him. And he's good. So it's not like it's going to be a challenge because he's going to have to learn a lot about flying that he didn't know. I think it's because the general already knew what was going down with command, with all the counselors and their ideas for how to take Coruscant. And, should we blockade it? Should we just bombard it and find a weakness or whatever? I think since he's intelligence, he was already like 3 steps ahead of the game, and he knew that they were going to eventually get around to sending down a team, and that the team would need to be pilots, and who better to send than Rogue Squadron, because they're the best pilots with all kinds of other skills. And that's why he wanted Pash on the team. He wants someone on the ground. He wants somebody down on Coruscant, and they're not sending an intelligence team. They're sending Rogue Squadron. So he said, I'm going to put one of my guys, or, someone who could make it onto Rogue Squadron, but that I trust as much as I trust my guys, so that he can be on the ground in Coruscant and that I get all the info. So I think that's what he meant by it's going to be a challenge. Not it's going to be a flying challenge, battle challenge. Pash has proved himself that way. Mm-hmm. I think it's because he knows the mission that was coming up that Wedge didn't even know yet. So he's got implanted in there for the Coruscant mission.
Just in case I do have that conversation pulled up, in case anyone needs a refresher.
Okay. Well, that was my understanding of it. I was like, oh, he knows something Wedge doesn't know.
Wedge?
I would be concerned because at that point in time, he hadn't had the meeting with the council yet about Coruscant. So he didn't know that they were going to ask Rogue Squadron to go. So if I was like, okay, this general, the director of intelligence, basically just dropped a hint that something crazy is coming up for our team. So I wouldn't be concerned because Wedge is never concerned with the level of their missions. They'll take on anything. Like, unfortunately, everybody seems to think they're suicidal. Like, they will take on any mission. So I don't think he'd be worried, but it should have made him go, oh, something's going down. Like, something's coming up. This guy knows about it, and I'm probably going to find out soon, which he did.
Geez, a lot of my answer agrees with you, but
that's good. That means it's the right answer.
Let me just go back to naturally. It should be Rogue Squadron that goes. General, are you going to be ready down on the ground? But I like to look at it this way. Yes, Wedge's concern, I think, is more on his people, and will they be ready with the mission, right? And then it got to me right now as you were saying your answer. It reminds me a little bit of the Bothans and how they were, skeptical about believing in the intel that the Bothans have given the first book. This is kind of like almost the same. It's just now you have the general who's kind of that we don't know if he's trying to get under Rogue Squadron or trying to find a flaw in Rogue Squadron, this new Rogue Squadron. I think Wedge is really only concerned with team and how he runs his team and what direction they're getting from Admiral Akbar.
Yep.
That's
Jazz, are you
good.
worried? Are you worried for them? For
I
Wedge
am-
and the boys and girls?
I am worried for them. That initial conversation, I had to reread it like 3 times because I was like, something's
he trying
going
to
on.
say?
He knows something is going on. And I feel like it had multiple meanings. So not just the fact that he knew that they were going to be the ones sent to Coruscant, but I feel like there's something else that we don't know yet.
Oh shoot. You might
So
be
that's
right.
why I was like, okay, if I were Wedge, I would be concerned. Even after that meeting, I'd still, if I were him, I would still feel like, okay, there's still something else going on that we don't know yet. Because it would have been too easy for him to just hint at that. I feel like there has to be something else. So I'd be concerned. I'd be like, what is this dude talking about? Like,
Keep waiting for that other shoe to fall.
yep,
Like,
basically.
what are you gonna ask us to do here?
Yeah. And I feel like it's not, I feel like the other meeting is not necessarily that, oh, you guys are going to have challenges ahead of you, but more like there's some challenges already in front of them that I feel like he's hinting at. So maybe something like amongst the team dynamic or with the pilots. I feel like there's something else that's not necessarily mission related.
Ooh. And if anybody would know about it, it would be General Kraken. So oh dear. Now I'm worried.
Me too. For somebody who hasn't read this, yeah. I'm trying to be the calm one and read this from a core and horn perspective where they're at the A game, like Rogue Squadron at its A game right now, and you guys are bringing on these theories that I'm like, what could happen now?
Well, the thing is, Rogue Squadron is the A game for dogfights, for space battles, for protecting other ships or taking planets. And these couple of missions now that they've got laid out to go to Kessel and extract some
prisoners,
Black Sun prisoners, like
right, Black Sun,
have to try to
here we go again.
Deal with them and get along with them and not and stay in control of these volatile characters for one, and then get into Coruscant where, I mean, they're not just going to be able to go in with their X-Wings and scout the place out. Like this is going to be kind of undercover stuff, and that's not their specialty. So it is these areas that they are not the A game at.
Okay.
So it should be interesting.
Are you ready for the last one?
Sure. Oh.
Okay, so this one's a little, sorry. This one's a little bit of a sweeter, more thoughtful, nostalgia one.
Okay.
So 7 years from Yavin and the war continues, but Wedge and Leia get a moment to reminisce. How did you guys like reading that? It was just like such a nice moment pause, so I just kind of wanted to get your reactions on that because I have feelings on that.
Yeah, anytime Leia makes a cameo in any of these books that are not specifically about her, I'm like, ee! It's like, I don't know, Ronald said something about it the last time, how she's kind of this constant that keeps popping up in these books, and it's like at different stages in her life, and yet somehow she's always so important, and she always is such a driving force for the main characters of the book. And so it was nice to see that happen again here. And it's the Leia that we know a little better. It's, I guess pretty recent from the Return of the Jedi Leia, but it's like, oh, she and Han are still kind of working things out. Luke's doing his thing. So she's giving everybody, giving updates on everybody. She's clearly got a big leadership role now, and she's not as involved in fighting and getting down and dirty like she had to during the rebellion. So yeah, it was nice to see her get to go from this counselor position in the planning meeting and then just go out and have a moment with Wedge to catch him up on how all of his friends are doing and reminisce about where they'd come from. And it's a reminder to us too of like how far they've come and yet still what a challenge it is to be doing what they're doing and what a challenge still lays before them before the work is complete. Sure, you toppled the Emperor and took out a couple Death Stars, but you're not in control of the galaxy yet. It's not that easy. Force Awakens and Last Jedi, where other factions can just take over the galaxy in the span of one evening. Whatever. No, here you got to work for it. You got to take different planets. You got to get other star systems under your control. You got to take down warlords that are trying to fight you for the position. That's how it goes. So yeah, it was a good reminder of where we are, where we've come from, and it's just nice to see Leia.
Well, you know me. I don't read the character list, so I am whatever I'm going to be reading, it's going to surprise me like a wall hit me. And the moment I see the words Counselor Organa, and now reading from the last book that we have just read, I was like, it can't be Bail, and I was like, Organa, and it
She's
surprised
not a
me
little
that
baby
I got a
anymore.
I got a little surprise. I was surprised that Leia was there, but nonetheless, very happy and excited that what little part that we saw her in. I'm gonna give it my best shot at a Leia wisdom type to answer this question. I looked at it as Leia and Wedge talking to each other. He's very nervous at the beginning, you know, calling her, trying to be very formal. And she was like, please, we're really good friends, you know?
Yeah.
And as the conversation goes along, they're trying, you were right. She's trying to update on things on Han and Luke and what they're doing, but also trying to get a sense of how are you doing with your Rogue Squadron, with your team. And that's something I think everybody can play in real life, is that even though we don't see our friends for years, months, days, obviously we have a little bit more communication technology that allows us to do that. But for the ones that you don't see, I think it's always good to dip back in and reinforce that I'm still here. I'm still your friend. And that part where Wedge was really like, I don't know about, you know, he's trying to, I don't know, reminisce with the old Rogue Squadron, relive the glory days kind of thing. And then kind of just was a little bit unsure of this new team, right? Saying like how they were his kids kind of thing. I think like just getting Leia listening was everything he needed to. So basically, this is like a friend venting to a friend who you haven't seen in a long time, but it's somebody you trust. And it's a practice we should do more with friends that you don't get to see too very often.
Yeah. Take an example from Leia. I did like when she asked if he was going to be having kids anytime soon. And I was like, oh, Jasmine's like, I know,
I'm right here, Wedge. I don't know what you're waiting for.
I could hear you from all the way where you live. I was like, she's totally screaming as she's reading this chapter. I know it.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm
like, I'm right here. You're right here. It's fine. Let's go.
Do this. Next generation coming up.
Right here. Let's go. We're about the same age.
I believe it.
Actually, here he's a couple years older, but that's fine.
That's perfect.
It's fine. It's okay. I like older guys. It's fine.
Well, how did you feel about seeing your favorite Leia?
Oh my gosh, it was just such a sweet moment. I could just feel the relaxation as they talked more. I could feel the nostalgia. And it just made me really happy because, you know, these are action-packed books. Like, they're always on the go. They're still in a war. Right. So to be able to just take a breath, take a step back together, I was like, oh, my heart.
Aww.
It was really sweet hearing, you know, about her and Han. And then Wedge was like, oh, no, you know, these are my kids. It's fine. And she's just like, I know you.
I like when he asked about Luke. I was like, oh, because they were like BFFs.
That was so sweet. I was like, yes, the cuteness. It's adorable.
Yeah.
Half of my head was like the bromance lives on, and then the other half I'm like, no kiss. Like, you put the Barbies together.
Yeah.
I ship them as bromance or romantic. Either way, I love Wedge and Luke. Okay,
Too many good characters.
it was such a sweet, tender moment in the middle of just chaos. And it just made me so happy. And I feel like it was so well done because it wasn't over the top. It was just sweet and simple.
It was. It had all the feelings, and it was just kind of all through the way they talked to each other, and
Yeah.
even just the body language. And it didn't have to be so on the nose where it was explaining exactly how they were feeling. You got it,
Yeah, you could
you
feel
could tell. Yeah. So very, very good. Beautiful moment.
it was
Liked
like a
it.
breath of fresh air, basically. And I loved it. It made me really happy. And that's why I was like, I need to know their thoughts.
Aw. Yeah, it was a good way to remind us where we are, and who we had gotten to know along the way, and what everybody is still working so hard towards, and everyone's still got these responsibilities that they're trying to take care of in this fight that's
Right.
still going on.
Right. Preach.
And yeah, and especially us having kind of wandered a bit and now returning to this series, it felt like a welcome back to us too, and kind of a little catch up on, here's everything we did and everybody who knew everybody. Sorry. And so, yeah, here we are getting reintroduced to these characters, and just kind of a little bit of really feely exposition on where, like, the status of everybody right now, so that we know where we stand. And a nice setup on this upcoming mission, or couple missions, it sounds like. And I don't know, all the controversy between the council, between the Bothans and everybody else.
I was like,
on
this
the way-
pettiness, I am living for it.
I just kept thinking of that one time that Ronald came up with the hashtag blame it on the Bothans. Like, it just kept going in my mind, blame it on the Bothans, blame it on the Bothans, as I'm reading this thing. Because, like, these guys, wow, they got some issues.
There's something
But
else.
everybody puts up with it for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, a couple new characters now that I really like. They seem really competent, and yet kind of have their own, issues to deal with. And like, how is that going to work within Rogue Squadron? And yet they seem really good, and like they're going to really bring a lot of talent to the team. So it will be good to see where this goes. I'm so happy to be back with these characters. What chapters are we reading for next week?
We're reading chapters 9 through 16.
Not too bad. All right, 9 through 16 for next week. And I hope to see you all in your X-Wing something or other next week as well. All my shirts are X-Wing, so I've got a lot to choose from. We'll be mixing it up. But for now, we have started the new book, and we are ready to blast off into the next set of chapters. So, Sexy Wookiees out for this week. Sexy Wookiee.
Wookies. So my X-Wing nails too.